movie, and we see the Red Skull, by the way, which was a big surprise. I did not think we were gonna see him. That shocked everybody in the theater. Everybody just gasped so much, and I was like, oh my god. But during the scene, it's a very, very sad scene. Like, I cried. I literally cried. And I've seen the movie twice already. But it's like, to get the Soul Stone, you have to sacrifice somebody you love. And Gamora's sitting there like, oh, no, but he can't get the Soul Stone because he loves nobody. He loves nothing but himself. And then Thanos turns around and you see him crying. And she's like, oh, tears, really? And he's actually crying because he has to kill her. I was like, oh my goodness. And then he goes and Thanos takes her arm and tosses her off the cliff. And I was just like, bro, what? That was just like and that was the third death in the movie. They killed Heimdall and Loki from the start. And then freaking Gamora. I did not see Gamora dying. I did not see that. I did not see that at all. Oh, and let's talk about Hulk too. Hulk gets mad whooped in the first 5 minutes of the movie, and I'm a big Hulk fan, but God, he got murked. And I mean, I knew it was gonna happen. I knew it was gonna happen, but I didn't think it was gonna be that brutal. Thanos was not playing around with the Hulk. Like, Hulk had the edge on him for like 10 seconds, and then he just whoops him in 30. It was so crazy to see. But then after that, you don't see Hulk for the rest of the movie, because he's like, he doesn't want to transform. He's scared. Everything. It's crazy. And Captain America. Captain America in the movie, he's a beast as always, but I kind of wish they gave him more screen time, because he didn't, I mean, if you think about it, he didn't do much in the movie. He goes and saves Wanda and Vision from Proxima Midnight, and I think it was Corvus Glaive. Yeah, he saves them too from yeah, saves Wanda and Vision from Corvus Glaive and Proxima Midnight. And it was that was a cool scene to see, playing the original Avengers theme in it. It was nice. But he does that and then fights in Wakanda, which was an amazing fight scene. Amazing fight scene. I love that scene. But after that, he doesn't do much. He doesn't talk a lot either. I mean, I kind of wish he did more than that. But I guess at the point, like a point of his character in the movie, the type of character that he was in the movie, he didn't really need to do much. But since he's Captain America, he needs to do more than that. That's the only gripe that I had with his character. Other than that, it was really good. And oh, the MVP of the movie. MVP altogether, the movie is Thor. Thor, straight up. I mean, he gets whooped at the beginning of the movie, but he comes back with the new hammer or axe, Stormbreaker, and you see Thor at his most powerful level that he's ever been. You've never seen Thor that strong before, unless you've read the comics, but if you haven't read that and you've only seen the movies, you have never seen Thor that strong before. I mean, he comes up in Wakanda near the end. The entrance is the best thing you've ever seen in your life. He comes up with Groot and Rocket and just mows people down. It's insane. I loved it. I loved it 100%. Like, he was the GOAT of the movie. Like, best character in the movie for me. And I'm gonna go back to what he does at the end. At the end of this video, I'm gonna go back to what Thor does at the end. That's really the best thing, in my opinion, that he does. But before that, I'm gonna talk about another character that was really good. Strange. Strange was a very, very good character in this movie. He was another go to the movie because I just like Benedict Cumberbatch, and I like how he plays this character. He plays him very, very well. And the coolest part of the movie is when Ebony Maw asks, he's like, Stonekeeper, does this animal speak for you? He's like, certainly not, I speak for myself. And he does that move and shows his power and everything. I was like, oh my gosh. That was just a really cool thing that I thought was one of his breakout scenes. And when he's when he 1v1s Thanos on Titan, that's another scene that's my favorite scene in the movie. One of my favorite scenes in the movie. When he the big fight between Thanos, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Star-Lord, Mantis, and Drax. All of them fight Thanos, and I mean, Thanos ultimately wins, of course. But during the scene when he fights Doctor Strange one-on-one, and Doctor Strange starts multiplying himself, I was like, yo, that was so cool. But then, I think, when they finally got the edge on him in the fight, they have him all... they're trying to get the gauntlet off because they have him stuck. And Mantis is on top of him, making him go to sleep. That scene's a very good scene to me. I really like that scene. Everybody got mad because of what Star-Lord did, where he goes and punches Thanos and it ruins everything. But in my opinion, he didn't ruin everything. I think that he needed to do that. Because if you remember, Strange said that he looked at like 14 million possibilities of the fight with Thanos, and or how they would win, and there was only one possibility where they won. So if you remember, when they're all holding Thanos down, and Star-Lord starts talking to him and starts getting irritated because he finds out that he kills Gamora, Strange didn't stop him from doing that. And I think that kind of confirms that Star-Lord needed to do that in order for them to win. Because if you think about it, Strange would have stopped him if it was going to hinder them from winning. If it was going to make them lose altogether, if it was going to be one of the other possibilities where they all die and they lose, then Strange would have stopped him. That's what I think. So I think that Star-Lord didn't do anything wrong. I mean, yeah, he made them lose that battle, but he didn't make them lose like the entire fight. I don't think so. I do not think so whatsoever. But I think what Star-Lord did do good, I think what he did the best was his humor in the movie. His humor was really good in the movie. I laughed at a lot of the stuff that he said, like when he said, when Iron Man calls the Guardians plucky, and he says, don't call them plucky. They don't know what it means. I was like, oh my gosh, that's funny. I don't know why I laughed at that, but I laughed at it. And, oh, another part of that scene, on the fight on Titan. Iron Man versus Thanos. When he started to fight him alone, I knew this was going to happen. I knew it was going to be either Iron Man or Captain America fighting Thanos alone at one point, and one of them was going to die. Thankfully, they didn't. I was surprised they didn't. But Iron Man starts fighting Thanos alone in the, just at the very start. Not at the very start, but, you know, after the fight's almost finished, basically. And Thanos is sitting there. It looks like he's playing with him, but he like really was getting hit. Like Iron Man's new armor, the bleeding edge armor, starts putting in work. against Thanos, and he actually cuts him and makes him bleed a little bit. So I mean, but that's the point where Thanos stops playing around and he starts ripping Iron Man apart. Ripping him apart. He just destroys him. Straight up destroys him. And then he straight up took a piece of the armor and just man, took a piece of the armor and then just stabs Iron Man. Everybody in that theater gasped out loud. People were crying at that part. I was just like, no. I was like, they can't do this. They can't do this. Because I thought he was done at that point. I said, no, man. That was so upsetting. But thankfully he survived. But Doctor Strange gave him the time stone. He had to in exchange for his life. Because otherwise they would have lost. Because that's the outcome that had to happen. Which, in a way, some people are like, no, he can't do that, but it's the only way. It's the only way. So at this point, he has all of these stones except for the Mind Stone, which is in Vision's head. Which, they have him at Wakanda, protecting him there for as long as they can. Because eventually, something's gonna come. It's Thanos. So after that, everybody on Titan is just wrecked. Spider-Man fought Thanos pretty good, but I mean, still he got murked too. Not as bad as Tony did, but he still he got pretty messed up.
Don't mind me.
He got pretty messed up. But back to what happens on Wakanda, I mean. Black Panther. Oh, the coolest scene in Wakanda for me, when Black Panther and is running in front of the entire Wakandan army, and then Captain America just starts running, passing everybody at like lightning speed, and then he catches up to Black Panther, and they're like tied in a race, and then they just start leaping in front of those in front of Thanos' army and just starts wrecking them aliens. I was like, oh my god. I was like, that was a good moment. I love that moment. That was so cool. But Black Panther really doesn't do much except for the fight at Wakanda. Other than that, he's not in it that much. But he did have a significant role in the Battle of Wakanda.
My people in this strange new world.
He had a significant moment, bunch of fighting. But after that, that's when the real fight happens. Like, Thanos shows up in Wakanda, all the stones except for the Mind Stone, and throughout the whole movie, Vision is trying to convince Scarlet Witch to destroy the Mind Stone in his head, because he knows that Thanos is coming for him, and he knows that he has all of them at this point, and he's telling her, you have to. And of course Wanda doesn't want to do it. I mean, they're in a relationship in this movie officially, and he cares about her and she cares about him, but ultimately Thanos just comes and starts wrecking everybody. He's coming through and just destroying stuff. Just he's mopping people away like they're trying to fight him. Captain America tries to hold his glove and hold the gauntlet and keep him at bay, and he does for a good 5 seconds or 10 seconds. And I was just like, dang, he held him longer than I thought he was gonna hold him. And Thanos looks surprised. He looks like he respects Cap for actually being able to. But other than that, he just moves his hand over and just decks him in the face. And Cap's just done. But then after that, Scarlet Witch destroys Vision and the Mind Stone with him. And it's a sad moment. I cried at that part too, because it was really upsetting. I hated seeing Vision go like that. But I hated seeing Vision go like that. Oh my god. But Thanos goes over to Wanda and, you know, sympathizes with her and says, you know, I know what it's like
I'm due an upgrade
to
anyway.
lose, and I've lost more today than I ever have in my entire life. Like, more than you can imagine. And she's just like, no, you haven't. Like, you don't even know what it's like. And he says, he goes and takes the time stone and reverses everything she just did, brings Vision back, takes him and just breaks his forehead and takes the Mind Stone right out of his head. And Vision's dead. And that was just, I mean, I thought Vision was going to die too, just because, I mean, he has an Infinity Stone. I mean, he's going to take it. Thanos is going to get it. But when he did, I was like, oh my gosh. So he has all six at this point. He's fueling with power. But then the GOAT comes. Thor, straight up with his new hammer, straight up chucks it at Thanos. And with the full power of the Infinity Gauntlet, shooting the laser up at Thor like this, Thor just throws it at him and it cuts straight through that. And it hits him right in the chest. And Thanos looks like he's done. And I was just like, no way. I was like, Thor just comes out of nowhere, destroys Thanos, and he's just like, I told you you die for that, you know, for killing Loki. That was such a cool moment. I was just like, yes, Thor. I was like, he got in some good licks on Thanos. But then Thanos is just like, you know, he acts like he's hurt. I mean, obviously he was hurt because that hurt. That hit him. That hit him. But Thanos says, you should have aimed for the head. And he goes and he snaps his fingers. And the whole screen goes white. And everybody gasped in the theater at this point. It's dead silent. Thanos, it goes to Thanos in the Soul Stone, I guess, because you see Gamora as a child, and he's talking to her, and she's like, did you do it? And he's like, yes. She said, what does it cost? And he's like, everything. And that was a very touching moment. But you see but it's not over. Like, it goes back to Wakanda, and Thanos, the gauntlet looks destroyed because the gauntlet looks absolutely destroyed because he used it to like its full extent. He used all of its power to its full extent. And and Thor's just like, what did you do? And then Thanos doesn't even reply. He just teleports away because he almost looks confused at what he just did, or he almost looks shocked, like, what did I just do? And then this is when it hits. This is when everybody started crying. I don't care who you were. If you watch this scene in the movie and you don't feel anything, you're not human. Because at this point, Bucky turns to Cap and he says, Steve, because he's disappearing, he's disintegrating. He is disintegrating, and he says, and he just falls. He just falls on the ground and dies. And I'm sitting here like, I didn't even register in my mind exactly what just happened. I was like, whoa, did he just disintegrate? I was like, no way. No way. No way that just happened. And it did. I was like, oh my god. My god. But what made it worse is that after that, people start, I think it was Groot. Groot came next. Yeah, Groot came next. Or, wait, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was some Wakandan, fighters or whatever you want to call them. They were the second ones to go. They were disappearing too. And then Black Panther comes around a corner and he's telling Okoye to, you know, get up, this is no place to die, and then he disappears. And that's when I was like, no. I was like, he just had a movie. He literally just came in. He came in Civil War, had his own movie, and that was it. And they did it this soon. That surprised me a lot. But what surprised me after that is that Groot dies too. And that was upsetting, especially after the confirmation that they said his last words were "Dad" to Rocket. That's terrible. Like, James Gunn keeps getting us with feels for Groot. First saying that Baby Groot isn't actually the original Groot, that original Groot is actually his dad. That's sad. Like, don't do that to us. Please don't. But then, after that, Falcon disappears too. War Machine's looking for him. And then, after that, I mean, that's it. I mean, no, that's not it. That's not it. What am I talking about? It goes back to on Titan. And everybody's shook there. Nebula is there at this point because she actually helped fight Thanos at one point. Forgot to mention that. But they fight. Or no, they don't. They fight, yeah. But Mantis says like something's happening, and then she disappears. And then shortly after, Drax disappears. And then Star-Lord disappears. And then after that, Strange disappears. I was like, no. Like, at that point, I'm just thinking, wow, they're killing everybody. I was like, everybody's just going. Who's gonna be next? But I was thinking, like, Doctor Strange is safe. I was like, there's no way they're gonna get him. And then he tells them that there was no other way. And then there's a pause, and then he disappears too. He tells Tony that. He disappears too. I'm like, jeez. But I think we can all agree the saddest one came next. And I'm just gonna, yeah, I'm just gonna switch to these people. Spider-Man and Iron Man. That scene when Spider-Man says, you know, I don't feel so good. I know it became a meme. It sucks it became a meme. It's funny now. But the minute I first saw that, I was like, no, don't do it to us. Because his spider sense is telling him that something's not right. And he doesn't even start disintegrating yet. But he goes over and hugs Tony. He's telling him, you know, I don't want to go. And then he's crying and everything. It's terrible because, you know, Spider-Man's a kid. And it's like and Tony's almost like his dad in a way. It's somebody he looks up to him. And it was just terrible to sit through. It was just like, oh my gosh, like seriously. And then Spider-Man disintegrates. And that's the end of the deaths, but there's literally only 8 people left. It's all the original 6 Avengers. Hawkeye, yeah, he wasn't in the movie, but he'll be in the 4th one. Ant-Man is there, and then there's Rocket and War Machine, and that's it. And then those are the only ones left. And then Thanos literally goes back to his homeworld Titan, makes it back to how it was before it was destroyed and looked like crap. And he sits there and he watches the sunrise, and that's exactly what he said he was going to do after he accomplished his motive. And it ends. The movie ends. and I was just like, wow, Thanos won. Thanos they actually made him win. I was like, wow. Because that takes guts. Like a lot of superhero movies, they always make the good guys win in the end. But there's a very, very few movies that actually have the villain win. And this is one of those few movies, but when he wins, you actually feel like he won. Like defeat. You feel like the heroes lost so bad that they can't even win. But if you stay to the after credit scene, which if you're a Marvel fan, you know every single MCU movie has a after credit scene. You see Nick Fury and Maria Hill, and they disintegrate too, which is, I didn't expect that, but they do. And Nick Fury tries to contact someone, but he ends up disintegrating too fast and to talk to this person. And when you see the logo that lights up, the logo that shows up on the communicator, it's Captain Marvel. So he's calling Captain Marvel because at this point, her and Thor are the strongest people that they have. And Hulk, if he gets his stuff together. Which I think that he's going to become World Breaker Hulk. Which he needs to at this point to be able to stop Thanos. But yeah, at this point that's the only hope that they have. Because everybody else is not going to be able to fight Thanos. They're not going to be able to. Nebula, I thought Nebula was going to die actually, more than Gamora. Because Thanos doesn't care about Nebula, he cares about Gamora, but not Thanos. I mean, not Nebula at all. Awful father. Awful father. Oh my god. But yeah, at the end of the day, that movie made me feel it made me feel amazing, but it also made me feel depressed. I was like, geez, I just watched all these people, all these heroes die on screen. I was just like, gosh, terrible. But to rate this movie, it's, I mean, I might can think of one plot hole in the movie, because I just thought about this today. But, like, at the end of Avengers 2, he has the gauntlet, but it's just empty. But in this movie, it explains that Beatree, that the dwarf on the dying star, he creates the gauntlet for Thanos. But when did he create the gauntlet? Did he create it 2 years ago? Or not even 2 years ago, probably about, that's probably longer than, yeah, 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago? Or was it that he just created it a couple days before because he needed the gauntlet to be able to control the stones? So did he have it or did he not? That's my question. But other than that, because at the end of Avengers 2 he has it in some vault, so that's just my plot hole. I think that's a plot hole, but correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, if I were to rate this movie, it's 10 out of 10. It's 10 out of 10 for me. It's way, I mean, really a 13 out of 10, but it's really good. It is a very, very, very good movie. My favorite Marvel movie that they've made. My favorite Marvel movie before this was Civil War, and it wasn't beat. The second was Winter Soldier, but yeah, those two movies cannot be beat for me, and then this movie came and beat it. And I was so glad that it did, because I really wanted it to. But yeah, that'll be the end of this video, guys. Thanks for sitting through it if you're still here. And subscribe, and I'll catch y'all later, I guess.